welcome back. My name is Milena. So this week we are going to get into all the fun details of when I actually met them, how I met them, and all those fun things. So if you remember last week, she sent me a message saying that she thought she found him. So kind of crazy. My husband works a crazy busy job. So when this was all going down, so it was a Friday night that she sent me the message. And then Saturday, well, she told me Friday that they were going to set up an appointment Saturday to meet and confirm and all that good stuff. Saturday went by all day, and I didn't want to be like that annoying person, be like, did you find out anything? Did you find out anything? So I didn't hear anything back. So then cut to Sunday. She's like, okay, we're gonna do it again today. And so I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and she gave me a time, so I'm waiting and I'm waiting. Mind you, I'm home with my kids, just me, because my husband's so crazy at work, busy at work. He doesn't usually work Sundays, but he was at work. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. Finally, she gets back to me, and she's like, it is her. I remember I was sitting there rocking my little guy, and I was I can't even explain the emotion. Like, it felt just so surreal. Like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Like, this is happening. So before that, she thought that like there were pictures that she found, and she saw other people with my birth mom. So she's like, oh, okay. So she friended him, and then she told me, she's like, you should friend him too. So I tried friending him. My one brother accepted my request immediately. And then a couple other siblings didn't really hear back from him. One of them actually denied my request because he's like, I don't know who that is. I'm not going to friend request that person. So then she told me, she's like, now's the time that you probably want to put together a letter for her. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. So I should totally show and share that with you guys sometime. Anyway, so then I reached out to my one brother that accepted my request, and I was like, hey, my name is Milena. I think I'm your biological sister. I didn't know if they spoke English. I didn't know if they just spoke only Spanish. And so he replies back, hola. Like, that's all he said, with like a smiley face. So I'm like, great, dang it. I don't know if they speak Spanish or not. Okay, so then, kind of crazy. Okay, so the friend that Ben has, I told him, I'm like, they found him, and then the girl that was doing all this got phone numbers, so she got my birth mom's phone number. So then she gets me her phone number, and I have our friend Alvaro call my birth mom. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And so he's like, hey, when do you want me to call her? And I'm like, just whenever. And so then he like texts me back. He's like, I'm doing it right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? You're doing it right now? Like I wasn't even prepared. I remember specifically I was hanging out with my sister-in-law that day, and it was so crazy. So he calls her, and he's like, you have 6 siblings. I'm like, what? He's like, from the day that she gave you up, she has never forgotten you. She wanted the best for you. She did all these things for you. So of course I'm like an emotional wreck, just crying like, oh my goodness. So then I had no clue if they knew about me. I couldn't really ask any questions. So then once they started to find out, they found me on Facebook. I gave them phone numbers. All that good stuff started to happen, exchanging phone numbers and stuff like that. So I'll have to show you the messages over Facebook. Is this really you? Because let's be real, if somebody like out of the blue was like, hey, I think I'm your biological sibling, are you gonna believe them? Or like, especially because my birth mom had never, ever, ever told them anything about me or about giving a child up for adoption. So it's crazy, all these feelings, for them and for me and honestly, I think it in the end, it could not have been a better outcome, because they have like not judged her and they've loved her. And there's that time where they're sad that I've been gone, but I am the type that everything happens for a reason. And I really 100% believe I was adopted to be with the family I'm with, to receive the blessings that I have, and I never regret it. And I'm so incredibly grateful that, God made all this happen. Anyway, so like, it's so crazy. So we were sending messages back and forth, to each other, kind of figuring out. So I have 1 biological sister and 5 biological brothers. Yes, I'm double making sure. So there's a older brother, older sister. Then there's me. And then there's 3 little brothers. So there's 7. There's 7 of us. So it's a lot. Ironically too, and the funny thing is, me and my youngest biological brother were talking about this the other day. There is he's a big believer, and it's crazy because he's not super religious, but he is a big believer in, things happen for a reason too. And there is definitely a reason why. He speaks English, you guys. He speaks Spanish and he speaks English. So me and him talk a lot more than the others because it's a lot easier for me and him to communicate over the phone. Anyway, so crazy. So crazy. So we're going to kind of cut to the day. I'm not 100% sure the dates. I think it was the week before that we were talking and messaging, because then the next week was Father's Day. And they're like, we want to talk. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, so mind you, my littlest brother, the one who speaks English, he reached out to me. He's like, we would like to talk. I speak English, because I was like, oh my gosh, I need a translator. My brother served his LDS mission in Mexico, so he kind of knew some Spanish. He hasn't really used it over the years, but I'm like, would you come help me? He's amazing. On Father's Day, he came over. His wife is awesome. She's like, yeah, they were just so extremely supportive of it. And he came over and was to be with me. So he was here with me the whole time. Ben was here. And then I just only had Mac and Mia at the time. I didn't have my 3rd little guy. Okay, so it was crazy. It was so incredibly crazy. I remember we went to church, we came home, and I was just all the feels. My brother came over. I was so incredibly nervous. We had plans later that day because we were celebrating Father's Day with my family. And I was so incredibly nervous. So incredibly nervous. And so my brother came. He was 100% supportive. He sat with me the whole time. Thank goodness for Ben, because Ben wrangled my kids. I know he wanted to be in with us more, but he was so awesome because the kids were crazy and he wrangled them and was with them. Anyway, I will show you the picture of when I first met them. I will show you the video of when I first met them. Ben took some of that, and it was just crazy. It was just crazy. And it's going to be even more crazy when the day actually comes, that I'm going to be able to physically give them hugs and it's just crazy. Anyway, so yeah, so we met, and there's just so much emotion. And I remember he, the very first thing my brother said was, not my brother here, my brother in Colombia. He's like, do you want to speak to our birth mom, or the mom first? And I'm just like, yeah. So he gave us some time, just me and her. And when we saw each other, we just sat there. I'm going to cry. We just sat there and we just stared at each other and we just cried. We just cried because for me, I just wanted to tell her thank you. I wanted to tell her thank you so much for what she did for me. And for her, I cannot even imagine the feelings of, that's my child, that's my daughter, this baby that I gave up that I had no clue if I'd ever see, there she is. She's right in front of me. So then we kind of hung up, kind of weird. And then he called back and he introduced me to everybody, and my biological sister and me saw each other, and she just started crying. And then I had one brother that just started crying, but there's just so much emotion. They're so sweet and so loving. And of course, all of them are like, well, when are you coming to Colombia? And obviously I have to figure out the time to get there. But so yeah, so I will next week, because this has been kind of crazy, I will dive into our conversation, kind of what happened, and just how it just keeps flowing and bubbling, and how I just am so grateful for everything that's happened, and my heart is just so happy and just so full, and I've got so many great people in my corner, and I'm just grateful. So thank you guys so much for watching and staying and sticking with my story. I hope it's fun to watch. I hope it's fun to listen to. Again, share this with anybody that you think will benefit from it, somebody going through their own journey, and all those different kinds of things. So love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Okay, we'll see ya.